Good afternoon and welcome to the Latino Coalition's first ever webinar for our new procurement portal, TLC MatchPoint. We're going to go ahead and get started, and to kick us off, let's welcome CiCi Rojas, TLC MatchPoint Executive Director. Welcome, CiCi.
Good afternoon and welcome to Latino Coalition's first webinar for our new procurement portal, MatchPoint. I have been involved as a board member for Latino Coalition for several years and wanted to take on this project when Hector spoke to me about the possibility. I am an entrepreneur and realize the value of virtual opportunities to sustain and grow my business. As a national organization with a long history of serving the Latino and minority business community, now more than ever, we are intently focused on providing resources for them, as they have been proportionately impacted by the COVID pandemic, especially access to the procurement programs and other federal assistance programs that exist. To tell us more about TLC MatchPoint is our chairman, Hector Barreto. Hector has been a long-standing, respected, and committed advocate for small business throughout his career. From his days leading Latino-serving small business organizations to leading the U.S. Small Business Administration, he has been working to create greater access to growth opportunities for small business. He continues his work as chairman of the Latino Coalition and has served our organization for many years. Please welcome Latino Coalition Chairman Hector Barreto.
Thank you, CiCi, and thank all of you for joining us today in what we believe is a historic opportunity in the history of Latino Coalition and, for that matter, small business. I'm very glad that so many of you could join us. We had a great response, and we think this is a great previews of coming attractions. But let me take a little step back. And as CiCi said, we've worked on these issues around small business procurement for many, many years and many different organizations that we've been involved with. As CiCi mentioned, I was honored to serve as the administrator of the SBA for 2 presidential terms. And during those years, we had a program called Business Matchmaking. And it was something that we put together because so many small businesses were saying to us, look, you have all these programs for small businesses, but why is it so difficult to get access to them? And so we put together a business matchmaking initiative, which were basically events that we would do all around the country and especially in Washington, D.C. And what we used to refer to that as we were facilitating access between qualified sellers, which were our small businesses, and motivated buyers, which were the government procurement officials and also corporate procurement specialists. And we had a great track record during those years. We did it for about 5 years, but we were able to set up 60,000 one-on-one appointments between small businesses and the buyers of every federal agency and many Fortune 500 companies. And we actually measured the results. So it wasn't just that we were matching people, but we wanted to see how many contracts we were able to do. And during those years, we were able to validate about $6 billion worth of contracts. Now, in those days, we didn't have the technology that we have today. And so that's why it's so exciting for us to introduce you to this one-of-a-kind, unique procurement portal named TLC MatchPoint. And you're going to hear a lot more about it and what all the features are and the value proposition. And we hope all of you will use it. There's no cost involved at all for using it. And it's available to any small business. So you don't have to be a Latino business to get benefit from it. So please help us get the word out there. I'm very pleased and proud of the partnership that we've created with My Business Matches. And you'll hear from one of the principals, Jeff Vigil, in just a moment about what they did to create this special opportunity. Many of you know that this is something that we've been talking about now for months, if not years, and it's really come to fruition. And also with everything that we're dealing with regards to the pandemic and the shutdown of business, et cetera, these kinds of opportunities have become more important than ever. And so, timing is everything, and I think that our timing is right. It's very difficult for people to travel now. So even if you could go to an event, it may not even be taking place anymore. Or if you wanted just to fly to DC and meet with procurement specialists, that may be difficult. Sometimes it's even difficult driving across town to meet with a potential prospect. And so technology like MatchPoint really helps us level that playing field. So you'll hear more about that. Now, some of you were with us a few months ago, and how our world has changed in just a few months. In March, we did our major event of the year at Latino Coalition, which was our Small Business Summit. And it was a great event, very well attended, but we really used that event to do what we referred to at the time was our soft launch for MatchPoint. None of us could have known what was going to happen after that, but that was I'm really proud and pleased that we were able to bring that event to so many people, not just the people that attended the event, but people that were watching it live stream all around the country. You might remember we had the SBA Administrator, Jovita Carranza, with us, a good friend of ours. We also had the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, of Education, of Health and Human Services. The President of the United States was actually there, and we had governors and congressmen and senators from both sides. So it was a very momentous and joyous opportunity for us. And it's probably one of the last events of its kind that we'll be able to do for some time. And I know a lot of other of our organizational partners are having difficulty scheduling events after that. And some of you may remember that at that event, we were able to sign memorandums of understanding with 10 organizations that are our partners and we work with on a daily basis. Organizations like the U.S. Hispanic Chamber, the California Hispanic Chamber, the LA Latino Chamber, the Orange County Hispanic Chamber, the Latin Chamber of Nevada, the Kansas City Hispanic Chamber, the San Juan Chamber of Commerce, the Indian Chamber of Commerce, the Virginia Hispanic Chamber, the New Jersey Hispanic Chamber. And I wanted to call all their names out because they all agreed to partner with us, make sure that they were making this available to their members at no cost, and really explore other partnership opportunities that we can collaborate on going forward. And I'm very proud of that, and we'll continue adding to that list. We've been marketing this through our newsletters, through our social media, so we'll continue doing that. But I especially want to express my gratitude to Wells Fargo. They have really been incredible in helping to support this initiative and really to fund this initiative. A significant amount of resources has gone into this very proprietary, one-of-a-kind technology. And so we hope that you'll enjoy it. They'll take use of it. You'll stay tuned to all the enhancements that we make to it going forward. And also, please make sure that you're aware that we're going to be doing these webinars going forward with different partners like the SBA and SCORE and Small Business Development Centers and partners like Wells Fargo and Google, AT&T, and others. We've already had conversations with them, and they're all excited about supporting not only the portal, but supporting you and our small businesses. I'll end with, what we're really focused on now is what I'm now calling the 4 R's. And those are response to this pandemic, the recovery from the pandemic, resiliency, building resiliency so that we can survive these challenging times for all of us, and reinventing ourselves with new strategies and new tools. That's what this is all about. Look forward to your input, look forward to your comments, look forward to your questions, and definitely your support for your tool, TLC MatchPoint. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to CiCi Rojas, who will take us through the rest of this agenda. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Hector. And thank you, Wells Fargo, again for your sponsorship. To get us started, let's watch a short video about TLC MatchPoint. Now, onto the reason we are here. And to take us through the nuts and bolts of registration and navigating the site is Jeff Vigil Jr. He's a senior project manager with My Business Matches, the creator and architect of the site. Jeff?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, CiCi, for the nice introduction. I want to take the time to thank Hector and the rest of the team with the Latino Coalition for putting everything together today and for being the driving force in this new tool. Like previously stated, my name is Jeff. I'm a senior project manager here with My Business Matches. I've been working matchmaking for the past 6 years now, and I am very excited to give you a live overview of the new TLC MatchPoint. Now, what is TLC MatchPoint? It's an engagement tool, 24/7, 365 portal that connects buyers with buyer opportunities with the most procurement-ready vendors. Now, this portal allows all the users to really engage and in real time. So everything that you will see in MatchPoint will be live data once you're engaged in it. You'll be able to meet companies. You'll be able to post or find opportunities, whether you're a vendor or a buyer. And you'll be able to really explore the circle of services that this really has to offer. Now, if you're a buyer, you can post opportunities in real time with specific requirements. And this is really going to allow you to vet out these vendors and truly find the most procurement ready one for those specific opportunities. If you're a vendor, you can search out these opportunities in real time. We have a comprehensive search function that's going to allow you to find something that most matters to your business, especially during this time. And everything's all encompassed in this one platform. Now, how does it really work? Well, it's a cloud-based system. With any system, we need to start with a registration point. And it's a very simple process. You simply select whether you're a vendor or a buyer, enter your primary email, and this is going to be the primary form of communication for your organization. So whatever you choose, make sure it's the primary one that you'll utilize for your company or your organization. You will fill out some basic detail information regarding your organization. Now, keep in mind, the more information that you do input here is going to help you build a robust profile and make yourself more visible to some of those opportunities that have been eluding you. Once you go through that process, MatchPoint will really start to really take place. It's already beginning the matching process just with the first two steps. By choosing whether you're a vendor or a buyer, you're designating these roles and what you're looking for. Now, once you get to this specific point, the matching is really going to start opening up for you. So, for example, if I were registering for MatchPoint as a vendor, and I come up to this specific step, I'm now going to start choosing the services that I provide. Now, any service that I put onto my profile, I'll instantly be matched up with any opportunity that has the same business categories. The matching is primarily going to be done with NAICS codes. So, for example, with my organization, I would enter the NAICS codes 5415. All the related NAICS codes will pull up, and now I can start adding it to my profile. Any NAICS codes that I add to my profile, I will be matched with the corresponding NAICS codes on the opportunity. So if I'm a buyer, I will enter the NAICS codes of the services that I'm looking for. Since I'm a vendor, I enter the NAICS codes of the services I provide. Add as many that pertain to your organization. This is a key component for the matching. It's not the only way we do matching in MatchPoint, but this is one key component. So I definitely implore you to add as many. Proceeding through the remaining steps, once you complete your registration, you instantly will be invited to the portal itself. You'll receive an instant notification with the corresponding steps, so you can go ahead and log in. Now, once you're logged in, you'll be presented with the TLC MatchPoint dashboard. Now, this dashboard will be your main hub for everything within the system. From this point, you'll be able to update your profile information. You can even view your profile how other users will see you. You'll be able to add any additional procurement opportunities if you're a buyer. You'll be able to add any more NAICS codes if you're a supplier. You can set up notifications on how you want to receive everything within inside the portal. Now, the portal will communicate with you in 3 different ways. Internally, you'll see notifications here, through SMS or through email. Now, with these notifications, you can set up specific ones, whether you you want to receive notifications on any matches you may have, any requested meetings, or any changes to your schedule you may have. Now, with this dashboard and with TLC MatchPoint, it is a non-intrusive application. So no need to download anything prior to coming. As soon as you're registered, you're automatically in the system. That's why it's cloud-based. This system will also work on any type of hardware that you're utilizing. So whether you're on a desktop or an iOS or Android device, on your tablet, you'll be able to conduct business within the system. And that's the great part about it being non-intrusive technology. It really allows you to utilize whatever tools that you have at your disposal, and especially given the times, that is a great resource to have. Now, the most important part about MatchPoint is going to be generating your matches. So like I said from the beginning, it all starts with your registration, and creating a very robust profile is going to help generate those matches. So let's go take a look and see what my matches look like. So based on all the information that I entered, my matches are automatically going to be generated within the system. So based off this profile, I already have 179 results found. Now, we give you a very robust and dynamic filter system that allow you to even pinpoint even better matches. So like I said before, we match on a few different places. One are going to be your primary business categories or NAICS codes, or just 2, your profile information. So here I am registered as a buyer inside the system. I can see all the vendors I match with. Maybe I want to look out through different types of services. So I can actually search by business categories. I can even pinpoint the type of vendors I'm looking for. So if I have specific attributes that I need for a specific opportunity, I can go ahead and narrow that down. So if I'm looking for a veteran-owned small business, I can utilize this filter to update my results. So as you can see, it's pretty instant. And again, the great thing about this platform, everything works in real time. So as more people register, more matches are being generated. And that's a truly amazing engagement portal for you. Once you have really narrowed down your matches, you can then start requesting meetings or vetting these users inside the system. We do allow users to communicate with each other inside the platform via our Let's Connect. This is just an internal chat system for users to engage with. So even upping up the engagement from that point. Also keep in mind, we do not share any personal information here. So the tool itself will be the main point of reference between communication between each users. So if I am interested in this particular vendor, I can view their profile. Once their profile information is loaded up, I can see their robust profile information. I can even download any capability statements that they may have, view any videos, and really see how we match up. So based off of specific information or specific attributes that I inputted as a buyer, a score is generated between these 2 users. So in regards to this example, I am a buyer. I was looking for NAICS codes 541690, other scientific and technical consulting services. I had a requirement, NMSDC certified, service disabled small business. And this particular vendor actually matched up with those specific requirements. But they did miss 2 requirements, CMMI and historically underutilized business zones. So based off of my specific requirements, a score is generated. With this particular vendor, I matched with them 50%, which is a pretty fair match. At this point, I can make a better decision whether or not I want to request a meeting with this specific vendor. So let's say I want to go ahead and request that meeting. Like I said, this is a 24/7 matchmaking tool, and everything's already integrated into this platform. So from here, I'll be presented with the days. Now keep in mind, you cannot schedule meetings out of business hours, so it's almost 24/7. So you can't request a 2 a.m. meeting on a Sunday. But I can select the day I want to request the meeting. The time results will pull up. Now, since we are dealing with multiple time zones, you will be presented with your own time zone, but you will also be able to see the time zone of the other user as well, so you can be cognizant of that. I can select the time. I can even select what I want to discuss about, send the request, and then instantly that request is sent out over to the other user. They'll receive it in a pending slot where they can either accept or decline that request. Once that request is added, then the users are able to truly engage in a face-to-face within the platform itself. Now, MatchPoint isn't just connecting based off of the information that we have. Much of this matching is going to be determined on our actual registrants. So besides that, we are also providing opportunities within other platforms inside the guidelines of MatchPoint itself. And that's going to be presented through federal government opportunities. MatchPoint has the ability to connect via API to different federal and government opportunities that they may have. We will showcase the opportunities within the system itself. And then from this point, you can search them out just in MatchPoint. So this is part of the full circle of services that MatchPoint is presenting. No need to have other applications or go to other apps. Everything's all encompassed in one place in real time. And this data will completely update in real time as well. So if you're interested, if you're a vendor for federal government opportunities, MatchPoint will be able to connect you to that directly. Now, besides that, once you have found the opportunities, vetted your vendors, or vetted the opportunities that matter to you, and you go ahead and schedule your meeting, you can actually conduct a virtual meeting one-on-one within the system directly. Again, no need to download anything. Everything's already incorporated into the system. The system will just simply ask you for access to your webcam and your microphone. Once you grant it access, then you will be able to conduct a meeting. Now, I'm going to go ahead and showcase that really quickly. So I went ahead, I scheduled a meeting, and now I'm going to log in for a virtual meeting as a buyer. And again, this also works on any device that you're utilizing. So this goes back to the non-intrusiveness of the application itself. So I went ahead and logged in as a buyer. I showed up in the bottom left-hand corner. The actual other participant will show up right in the main part of the screen. From here, you can either chat with each other through the chat system. You can share screen and just converse like you would if you're at a one-on-one business matchmaking event. So I can't stress enough how exciting this tool is. Having one major resource is going to be pivotal moving forward with your organizations. It's a technology-focused and business-focused tool, and it's for you to utilize. So I understand that everyone's going to have a lot of questions regarding the MatchPoint system. Again, my name is Jeff, and I am more than happy to be your guide on your journey in finding these opportunities or posting these opportunities. This is all I have for the kind of bells and whistles part. So at this point, I'm going to kick it back off to CiCi, and we're going to close up the show. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff. So now it's time for Q&A, because I think that I know that there are some questions out there. So the way you ask a question is through our chat, the chat box that's open. So if you would just input your questions, and we will get to as many as we can. So I have a couple to kick us off, Jeff. I have someone that asks, can you be a buyer and seller at the same time in the system in MatchPoint?
That is a great question. So absolutely, the system does have multiple capabilities of connecting users in various different ways. So like I said before previously, we do not just regulate matches based off of NAICS codes. You can also really find matches on various different ways, and that's going to be based off of profile information as well. So if other users are interested in matching in buyer to buyer or supplier to supplier, you can actually request meetings through the directory of MatchPoint itself, so you can engage in multiple different levels. So short answer, yes.
Excellent. I have a second question, and this is, can specs be sent back and forward as they are, or do they need to be edited without the company name?
Specs as in specifications of what services you provide, if I'm catching that right. So, I mean, it's all going to be dependent on your profile information that you create. If you're talking about engaging on sending specifications back and forth between user to user, then we do have a pretty capable upload system where you can upload capability systems, and users are able to download that information from your profile directly. In addition, if you are engaging in virtual meetings, you can share information through the virtual meetings, whether it's a share screen system or directly with each other.
Yeah, and the system will give feedback to the participant about how full or how robust their profile is, correct? I mean, it'll tell you if it's 70% full, 80%, complete, so that you can constantly update and make sure that your profile is completely full as it can possibly be.
100% CiCi. We're giving constant feedback within the system, and that's in two places, whether it's your profile information or through the compatibility score module that was specially created for this platform, where it's going to give you a dynamic score on how well you matched up with each other. Now, this is a great resource for anyone within the system, because if I am a vendor and I'm looking at specific opportunities and I'm seeing I'm missing certain certifications or certain information, that score is going to tell me. And that may make me as a vendor go back and apply for those certifications. So I'm a little bit more ready for those procurement opportunities.
Okay, excellent. And Hector, I have a question that is probably more directed toward you. I have a question from a small business who was recently awarded a large purchase agreement for PPE for a government agency. But because they were not able to have that abundance of capital on hand, the purchase order was canceled. So, what advice do you have to these small businesses that are being awarded these large contracts, but because of capital, they're not able to fulfill the front end of the purchase order?
It's a great question. And unfortunately, this is something that happens frequently to small businesses. They're able to get a contract, or at least the possibility of a contract, but they do not have all of the resources they need to fulfill the contract. And this is the proverbial, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Every situation is different. Every business has different ability to access lines of credit, loans, etc. By the way, a lot of small business, and I'm not sure if this individual was able to apply for PPP or the economic injury disaster loan, and those can take time to get. But those were new programs to give small businesses access to capital, especially as they navigated this very challenging economic time. As you know, one of our key benefactors for this site is Wells Fargo Bank. And even though they don't have any preconceived ideas, we're happy to make a connection into Wells and our other financial partners to see if they might be able to help you. It sounds like this is a situation that happened recently. Sometimes you can have a conversation directly with your lender and say, look, I have an incredible opportunity, and what can you do for me? What can you help me with? If you can validate that you have this procurement, oftentimes the lender will do things that they might not normally do because they feel that they have some assurance that they're going to get repaid with that procurement contract. The other thing I would say to you is, if you haven't done this recently, and if you plan on continuing to apply or go after federal procurement, there's a lot of resources that are out there to help you at no cost. It could start with your SBA office. And I know, because I'm dealing with SBA every single day, they're very, very focused on helping small businesses navigate through this quagmire that we're all living through. And so that could be a first stop. Other places are SCORE, Counselors to America Small Business. That's 10,000 counselors, and they can help you and maybe sometimes even identify a lending source, maybe a non-traditional lending source like a non-bank lender, that SBA works with. And there are other lenders that may not be a traditional bank that might be able to provide resources to fulfill that contract. Small business development centers is another place that you can go. So, I wouldn't give up. I know it's frustrating once you feel like you cross the finish line, and it's not easy to get a federal procurement, but once you have it in your hand, to see it disappear simply because you don't have cash on hand to be able to do that. Lastly, if you're looking to, again, continue doing this, it's very important to have some contingency plans. These resource partners that I just mentioned to you, you should have them on speed dial so that when these situations come up, you can call them and say, what can you do for me? And then also, whenever possible, if you can arrange some type of credit lines so that when these opportunities come up, you can tap into that credit line. And I'm not saying it's easy to get a credit line either, but I'm just saying is that depending on the relationship that you have with your lender, they may be able to do things for you, especially during this time. Last thing, if your lender that you're with right now is not doing the job for you, please go shopping. I know that SBA on their website has all of the participating lenders, and they can actually break it down per area. I know that in my experience, a lot of times people will say, banks don't want to lend to me. And you say, okay, how many banks did you go to? Well, I went to my corner bank. It's like, okay, they said no, but that doesn't mean that others will not lend to you. And so you got to find the right fit for your business, for your industry, for your track record. Anyway, I wish you a lot of luck. Please keep us posted, and hopefully you can get some additional opportunities by signing up as soon as possible for TLC MatchPoint. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Hector. And you can expect other types of resources on the TLC MatchPoint website, a marketplace, if you will, for many of our corporate partners that will, to this point, have their resources and tools available for participants. So we'll be populating that as soon as and as quickly as we get the information to do so. Jeff, I have another question for you. Can you set up multiple meetings between a buyer and vendor? And what does the process look like once two companies have been matched?
Very great question. And yes, you can set up multiple meetings since the engagements tool isn't designated to just one day. It is 24/7. So the way I've seen it in the past, users will have a first meeting and then a follow-up meeting afterwards, and the system will allow you to do that. As far as the matching goes, it's pretty simple. Once you log into the TLC MatchPoint system, and I can go ahead and share my screen again for this particular part. Matches are automatically generated for you, whether you're a vendor or whether you're a buyer. The viewpoint is going to be relatively the same. So matches are automatically generated based off of your registration information. So it's going to be from 2 points. Your NAICS codes that you input in the system. So if you're a vendor, the services you provide. If you're a buyer, the services that you're looking to buy. And the additional profile information. You go to My Matches, and then everything's generated right here. These are going to be your direct matches with each other. From this point, you can start vetting. So I'm currently logged in as a buyer. So I will see the destination for vendors located here. I can start viewing the profile informations. And then from this point, I can actually request a meeting with the users. On top of that, with the matches, you can also filter out for more specifics. So if you are a vendor, you can look for specific opportunities under filter by opportunities. Or if you're a buyer, you can filter out through other means as well. So these are just your direct ways. The system will also give you access to a global directory, and this is going to open up the doors even more. Now, everyone within the global directory aren't going to be your direct matches. So really utilize this section to explore and see what's out there. So if you may, have not inputted a specific service that you do, and you start searching through the directory, you may find something that you're capable of doing. So again, 2 ways that you can go about it. 1, under My Matches directly, or 2, you can just search out other opportunities through the global directory. I hope that answers your question.
Excellent. Hector, I think I have one I'm going to toss to you, mainly because of your former role with SBA. But so if you're based internationally and you need support for certifications, let's say it's agriculture, bottled water, parts, or manufacturing, what types of resources are available for you? And I'm sure we could make them available on our site, but what would be available to them now?
Yeah, I kind of go back to the resource partners that I was mentioning to you. Now, a couple of things is that if you're a U.S. company that has operations internationally, you have access to all of the U.S. programs. If you're an international company, that may preclude you from getting certain kinds of resources from somebody like SBA, or to be prioritized by some type of procurement organization, whether that be another government agency or whether that be a corporation. And the simple reason for that is the goals that government has, the goals that corporations have, they really prioritize US-based companies. It doesn't mean that they wouldn't do business with an international company. I'm just saying that, especially on the small business side, they're going to give priority to a U.S. small business. But assuming that you have let's say a subsidiary company that's based in the U.S., or in some cases you may have a U.S. partner that you work with, you should be able to get access to some of these resources. Now, there are a lot of certifications that are out there, and sometimes that's a frustrating thing for small businesses because they're like, how many certifications do I need? And there's a lot of information on what those different certifications may be. But again, I think one of the best places to start is with SBA district offices directly, or with the counselors that I mentioned, SCORE, and you can get that on score.org, or ASBDC, the American Small Business Development Center organization. And you can set up an appointment. And sometimes you can set up appointments virtually. In fact, most of the appointments that these resource partners are doing now are virtual appointments to get your questions answered. Lastly, our intention with this website is for it to be a tool for small businesses in a variety of different ways. Jeff kind of alluded to some of those already. We see this as kind of a meeting place, a marketplace, if you will, where small businesses will be able to meet each other to do business. Sometimes they can sell to each other. Sometimes they want to team with each other so they can go after a procurement that they may not qualify for themselves. These webinars, we're going to videotape them so that people can go back and look at them again. So this is going to kind of be a resource library for you. I think that there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be posted. I know that CiCi's working on areas of the website where we can have information, up-to-date information. For example, recent guidance that's being provided by the government. We could put some of that on there as well. Obviously, we're going to be taking questions and comments on an ongoing basis, and we'll do our best to get you answers back on that. But this is we're basically convening a community of experts to help each other. And I would just say to you that there's a lot of interest at all levels. There's a heightened awareness in corporate America. There's definitely a heightened awareness in political circles on how we need to do a better job of helping these emerging small businesses, which are really the future of our economy. You got to believe that somewhere between 15 and 20% of all businesses are these emerging businesses. We're going to be working with all types of communities Asian, African American, women, veteran, LGBT, and others. And so that's what it's all about, for us to help each other continue being the engine of this economy. The economy will never get back on its feet unless these 30 million small businesses are not just starting, but they're growing over the long term. And that we believe that this is one tool of many to be able to help you accomplish some of your goals. So I wish you luck, and we're very interested in international business as well. Many of you may know that this week, I believe it's Wednesday, is the 1-year anniversary of USMCA, a trade agreement that was negotiated with Congress and the administration to really unify our continent. And we need to do more of that than ever before. My father used to say, it's a bridge that we call Sanchez to Smith, where a Sanchez maybe in Latin America is selling to a Smith in either the US or Canada. That Smith may be a government or it may be a corporation. So together we're going to keep focusing attention on building bridges between ourselves, not only in this country, but internationally as well. Thanks for that question.
I have a few more, and I think I could probably take them. One is, will the website or parts of it be available in Spanish? And I know absolutely you can communicate in Spanish with each other, and we would definitely going to explore having more parts of the site available in English and in Spanish as well. And so more to come on that. We are going to post in the chat box the resource partners that Hector spoke about, the SBA and SCORE and a few of the others he referenced. So look for the URLs in the chat box that will be coming over. And I know that the SBDCs are making appointments via Zoom and phone, so they are available that way for if you have immediate needs. And then we had a question about the TLC, if we are planning another summit on the West Coast for vendors, much like we have in the past. And I think that it's just going to be a day-by-day type of decision. And Hector, you can fill in if you want, but
sure. Yeah.
I think that we're just wait and see to see what, I know we're in 2021, we're starting to plan that scope of work and what that looks like in terms of events and face-to-face meetings. But definitely more to come. Hector, do you want to?
Sure. Thank you, CiCi. And some of you may know, we still have a very close relationship with the SBA, work with district directors, field ops, headquarters, supporting them any way that we can. And of course, our phones have been ringing off the hook for the last couple of months. A lot of people asking for help and information, and happy to help them as much as we can. We've had this relationship with the Southern California SBA, who's really one of the leaders with regards to procurement conferences. And Latino Coalition has sponsored that conference over the last couple of years. Ironically, that conference was supposed to happen this month, and the SBA administrator had confirmed to come out. So we were really excited about supporting that as well and inviting our members and et cetera. Obviously, that conference got canceled. And CiCi kind of referenced that we're going to have to take this on a day-to-day basis, depending on what the regulations of each state are. We would like to be able to do some events between the end of the year, but obviously, we're concerned with safety as well as anybody else is. So we'll continue keeping you posted on that. We are interested in doing things of that nature. I would tell you that in every event that we've done really over the last year, MatchPoint has been a key component of it, and that will not change. Where we do procurement panels, we could even do some face-to-face matching. Also, Jeff might want to speak to this. One of the things that My Business Matches is also doing is virtual matchmakers, and they've been generous to allow us to invite our members to virtual matchmaking events that they are doing as well. So I'll let Jeff speak a little bit to that. And then lastly, before we run out of time, this tool is only as good as your contributions to it. So, there's no obligation on it, but please sign up for it. Give us your information so we can start matching you. There's nothing to lose. If you learn something, or you get introduced to somebody, or you even get a contract, we're going to be monitoring those kinds of success stories going forward. But it's only as good as what we're depositing into the system. So we hope that all of you that are listening will sign up as soon as possible, and encourage others to sign up for it as well. And I'll turn it over to Jeff to talk about the virtual matchmakers.
Yes, thank you very much. And just to touch on your point, with TLC MatchPoint itself, it really look at it as a community that you're building, and it starts with you. So getting into that system and learning as much as you can is going to be very valuable for you in the future, especially given the times. In regards to what My Business Matches is doing, yes, we are trying to engage as much as possible given the times, and the way to do that is through virtual matchmaking now. So my team, and working with TLC and working with other organizations, we are engaging in virtual matchmakers, much to the effect that you would with your typical brick and mortar events. You'll be able to create your profile through the system as normal, do your registration, vet vendors or vet buyers, and engage in one dynamic system in a one-on-one capacity with each other. We have plenty of information regarding our events, and we'll make sure to share that with the TLC team right away, so you'll have access to that as well.
Well, thank you, Jeff. It looks like we've taken care of all the questions, and once again, we're always available to answer additional ones. And I want to thank you, Jeff, for your informative presentation. Remember, we have many corporate and government partners who will be searching for potential vendors on the site. We are working with our corporate and government partners daily, so content and opportunities will be added weekly as soon as we receive them. So please sign up and update your profile. Make sure that it is as robust as it can be, and check back as often as you can for new information. If you do have any additional questions about the information that was presented to you today, please contact Jasmine Thompson. She's the project coordinator, and her email address can be found on the slide that you are seeing now, or will see shortly. And I want to thank the team once again who coordinated this webinar. They've done an excellent job. And thanks again to Hector for your continued advocacy for small business. As Hector alluded to, we have several webinars that are scheduled and will be and are continuing to be scheduled with many of our partners. Our next scheduled webinar is July 24th, and our guest presenter will be Bridget Weston, the new CEO of SCORE. She will host a panel discussion on the importance of mentoring. The invite will go out tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that and to register. So to close out, I want to thank you for attending, and I hope you each have a great week and a terrific 4th of July. Thank you very much.